Thank you. That was important. All right, we're gonna get started. Rocío, ¿te parece? Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. You can see how. All right. Cool. Well, thank you all so much. While I'm sharing my screen, it will be hard to see all of you, so I won't be able to see your reactions. But if anyone has a question, please feel free to let us know in the chat, and Isabel or one of our team members will let us know. Okay. So I wanted to start off today by first introducing myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erica Meyer. I am the co-founder at Espacio Geranios. Espacio Geranios is a co-working space focused on social entrepreneurship and innovation in Spain, in Madrid. We have a space that is also, we have NGOs, social enterprises, and freelancers. And we also have room rental space as well. And we just recently opened a new space, which I'm connecting from in rural southeast Spain in Murcia, which you all are welcome to come visit if anyone who's in the north needs an escape. But our focus beyond promoting social entrepreneurship and innovation and having a physical space, we also carry out in our participants of projects like this. So we're very happy to be here today to share the results of a project for us that has been super important over the past couple of years. So thank you. I wanted to introduce you all to Rocío Nogales, who's here with us today. She's a coworker at Espacio Geranios and has been with us for the past several years. And it's really a huge, I don't know, a huge blessing to have her here with us today. She's a great friend and she will be helping to co-moderate today. So Rocío, if you could introduce
Thank
yourself.
you. Thank you, Erika. Thank you. And hello, everyone. I'm really, really excited about today's final webinar. Very honored to be co-moderating with Erika. And just very briefly, I have been working for the past 21 years actually with MS. MS, it's an international network that focuses on researching mostly, but also teaching and training on the social, what we call social enterprise, but we also refer to it as the SE field, and that includes actually social enterprise, social economy, social entrepreneurship, social and solidarity economy, and social innovation. So those are the vast fields where we have been working for the past, as I was saying, 2 decades. We started wondering, what all this was, what this was all about, a long time ago when this was not even a buzzword, when this was not a trend as it is today, and have been, we have been following the development of the field for a long time. And it's very interesting to see, as I was telling Erika, as we were preparing, to see all the array, the big array of initiatives, projects at European scale, member state scale, beyond Europe even, and then also at regional and local level. So for me, one of the main goals, and I was also telling Erika, and I'm happy to tell all of you, is that it's very important that with all of this wealth that is created within each little ecosystem that each project, like this one, like SESI, constitutes, that we are able to ensure that we have the connections, that we make the effort to pass on the knowledge, to pass on the tools, and all the social capital that is called, all this strength that we have created and the momentum that we have created as a community. So really, for me, that's the goal today. We'll be talking a little bit more later about some of the projects that we're currently involved in, and that I think could be connected to the results of SESI and other projects that you are involved and are going to continue to be involved. So let's go for it, Erika. If you have, also just so you know, my role here today is to co-moderate with Erika, as I was saying, but also to throw some questions, observations, food for thought in the process that we're going to, and the time that we're going to be sharing in the next 2 hours. Okay, so back to you, Rika.
Thank you, Rocio. So yes, it's a huge honor for us as well. I think having people, especially youth workers, people who dedicate their lives to, these different aspects in their own countries, people that have been involved in other Erasmus Plus projects. So thank you all for taking your time. I know everyone's very busy as well, so we feel very honored to have you here today. So for those of you who don't know about SESI, many of you have been involved in different stages of the process, but we just wanted to do a brief introduction of who we are, what's this project about, and what are the goals that we're trying to achieve together. So SESI, which stands for Social Entrepreneurship as an Enabler of Inclusion, is an Erasmus Plus. It's a Key Action 2 project. And the goal of the project, the agenda. The goal of the project has been focused on trying to promote social entrepreneurship as a model that can empower youth from different backgrounds, that they can also be change agents in overcoming local challenges and revitalizing their communities. I know it's a big goal, right? But it's broken down into different work packages. As many of you who work with these type of projects know that the different types of work packages are usually led by the different partners here, and we'll go into detail in those in a bit. But the goal of this project is not only to empower youth, which sounds very, very big, but it was to encourage knowledge and exchange on local social enterprise ecosystems, to collect best practices in our local communities, to try to create a replicable training model that other youth workers can use as well, and to also try to build a strategic partnership that can go beyond what Rocio was saying. In our case, we've been working in this field for the past 10 years, and it's been really great to see the connections that we've been able to establish as an organization, but also the new connections that these types of projects enable us to create. So the SESI project is focused on these different target groups that you can see here: youth workers, social enterprises, young people, policymakers, youth organizations, and local communities. You'll see a little bit more after this process today. Our goal is to also create a policy brief, which will be led by our partners, Youth Proactive, who have a lot of expertise in this area, to kind of elevate all that we've been working on also to the policy making level at the European Union. So, but before getting started today, we wanted to start off by sharing who's behind SESI, who are the partners that are involved. And so I'd like to see if those of us who are here today, if we can start maybe with Teresa Payares from Youth Proactive. Teresa, can you briefly introduce yourself and the work that Youth Proactive is engaged in?
Of course, Erika. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. So happy to see familiar faces, new faces. So this is a very important day for us as part of the SESI project. So as Erika was saying, my name is Teresa Payares Ramos. I'm originally from Spain, and Youth Proactive, we are based in Brussels, Belgium. We are coordinating the project, and what we do is mostly twofold. Being in Brussels, being in Belgium, as also Erika was mentioning with the policy briefing, has a very political dimension. We work in advocacy, the advocacy dimension at the European Union, European Parliament level mostly. So we try to foster the connection with policymakers in the area of youth policy, entrepreneurial policies, and all related fields. And at the same time, we bring this into practice through non-formal education projects that try to foster at SESI, as an example of this, try to foster the engagement of youngsters in many different areas, but at the end of the day with two objectives: provide and promote personal development, professional development, and empower them in different levels. So in a nutshell, this is what we do. And again, very, very happy to be here today, and many, many thanks to Espacio Geranios for organizing this fantastic webinar.
Thank you. Teresa, Paul and Kaisa from Fundacja Regeneracja in Poland.
Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. And at the beginning, I would just like to express my great gratitude for being the part of the SESI project, because I feel like the last 2 years was a great journey and a great growth personally for me, but also for my NGO. I am the founder and the president of Fundacja Regeneracja, an NGO based in central part of Poland, in Ciechanów. I am running Fundacja for over than 10 years now, and together with my great crew and my co-workers, we carried a countless number of projects, mainly focused to support personal development of individuals in very general words. But what do we do? I would say the biggest target groups are young people, youngsters, mainly from rural areas, from small cities. And when it comes to youngsters, we focused on two things. One is entrepreneurial skills, and the other one is to encourage young people to be more socially active. And we have like two flagship projects. One is called the Dragon's Den, and with these projects we teach youngsters how to be more entrepreneurial. And the other project is Citizens of Tomorrow, and this project is mainly to engage young people to be more socially active, but we also want to teach them how to be a responsible and active citizen. So this is what we do for youngsters, but we also work with unemployed people, and we help them to re-enter the labor market. And we also work with seniors, and we help seniors gain those kind of skills which help to prevent them from social exclusion. So that's what we do. And I am here today with my project partner Paweł in a while, and also with Karolina Konopa, who started as our young participant, but now she's a member of Fundacja team, and she's implementing projects for young people. So thank you very much.
Yes, it's been really nice to see how the different participants of the SESI project have been integrated as interns or as participants, going from participants to having actual real job opportunities within the organization. So thank you, Kaisa. Andrea from AIDE in Romania. Welcome, Andrea.
I hope you can hear me well.
Perfect.
I'm really happy to see all of you, so good afternoon. I will just say a little bit about AIDE. So mainly I am a youth worker in the organization. We have today with us also the president of AIDE, Adelina. We are mainly working with youngsters. We are trying to develop their sense of entrepreneurship, all their initiatives and everything that they are doing. We are running a youth center in Râmnicu Vâlcea. We are in the south of Romania, I would say. And we are also hosting Erasmus Plus projects through our accreditation, the mobilities, and also we are having international volunteers who are staying with us for 1 year and learning and contributing to our community. But in the same time, I would like to say that SESI was an amazing project. Well, it's still going. That brought a lot of plus value to our organization and also to our community, I would like to say.
Thanks, Andrea. So as you all can see, we're trying to put the links of the different organizations, but we'll send you a summary of all of this as well, so you can check up on us all later. One of the important parts of this project, which we will share with you at the end of the webinar today, has been the creation of an application. And the agency that's been helping us throughout the whole process is based here in Spain, and they're Imagine Apps. And today we have with us Bosco. So Bosco, could you introduce yourself briefly?
Hello, thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure. I'm sharing on the chat the application that we have built. In case you guys want to download it, make sure you download it. And please feel free also to reach out with your feedback. This is a work in progress, as all the consortium knows. we are constantly improving the application and making it as better as possible so that you can make as much use of it, so that it's of your use and interest. Basically, we were the ones who actually, as the name suggests, we're the ones that created the application. We are a small company based in Spain. We develop applications, most of them with a social impact. So, well, it's always a pleasure to be here and to help thrive social entrepreneurs like everyone in this webinar.
Perfect. So thanks, Bosco. We'll have a brief presentation about the app at the end of the meeting. So yeah, as you can see, this is
your dream team.
Here, I'm just trying to go back to the screen. Okay, thank you all. Sorry for my technological. All right. So now that we all know who's behind SESI, we wanted to go into the work packages so you can see the journey that we've been able to embark on together. So way back in March and April of 2023, we started this project together with a kickoff meeting and also co-design sessions to try to think about, this is what I love about the Erasmus Plus project, this whole idea of like, we're not the ones coming to say what needs to be done, but the whole process is created amongst people with different expertise, different skills, different backgrounds. Having Bosco here, who's an expert in creating apps, obviously is amazing, and then all of us who bring a lot to the table. So it's been a learning process for all of us. We started off first by mapping stakeholders in each of our different local communities, mapping the social entrepreneurship ecosystem, and also doing local focus groups, which was really amazing to start off just by listening to people from the ecosystems in our countries, and together designing an international forum, which was carried out here in Spain, in Madrid, in September of 2023. And the result of this forum, which people like Rocio and many of you who are here today participated in, is this collection of best practices. We're leaving the QR code here as well, but you can also download it from the SESI website. And this is one of the key results of the project is things that we have been able to identify in our local communities that are working, especially highlighting Spain, because that's where the international forum took place, and also sharing the insights from the local focus groups that we were able to achieve. And so you can see here the collection of best practices is in all of the different languages of the projects. We highlight, for example, here in Spain, there's ECO, there's Espacio Afro, CESAL, MS Network, where Rocio is from. So we invite you, please, these types of things and results take a lot of work. And so it would be awesome if you could take a look, give us feedback, and also share. I think that the idea behind this collection of best practices is that it can be an inspiration for youth workers, and for people who are working locally. And so part of this international forum, it was really nice to see, like I say, individually as the Espacio Geranios, how we were able to bring together people that we've had connections with over the past years and create new ones. And so Rocio, who's part of our community, was able to share her experience in that international forum, and we wanted to offer her. She has several new projects in the works right now that are really integrated into exactly what we're talking about today. So Rocio, I wanted to ask if you could just introduce in more detail MS and also the projects that you're currently engaging in.
Thank you so much, Erika. So before I do what you're asking me to do and what I'm here to do as well, let me just send you some, as I was saying, some food for thoughts, particularly on two issues that I think are very, very important. The word stakeholder, I think that when we talk about stakeholders, and for those of us who have been, on the field and have worked with them in different communities, I mean, stakeholders and empowerment, are two words that that don't often come sweetly, let's say, or swiftly. Let's call it that way. I mean, there are conflicts, there are opposing views, you know. So when you're actually mapping stakeholders, it's very important that we realize that we're going into a real life situation where, you know, we think we may have a hint, or we can have an idea or a hypothesis in our case when you do research. But as you were saying, you know, doing projects that manage to be transformative have a lot to say to do with giving real voice to those people to also express opposing views. And in many cases, we're caught in the middle. And it's not that we need to be pacifiers or anything like that, which we may end up doing, but my point is that, you know, when we talk about stakeholders, it's not always easy. And moreover, you know, it's not only that they have opposing or conflicting views, but I think it's also very interesting when we speak about empowerment. For me, it's a word that it's very much connected to giving power, or giving the conditions so that people actually stand up to their own agency or their own potential to grab the power that is inherent in them. But just think about what that means in terms of power game change. I mean, when we speak about empowerment, when we speak about empowering someone, there's usually a reshuffling of the cards. Okay, so I think this is very, very important, and this also explains why, you know, social change takes a lot of time. It's just to create the conditions, it's to create the spaces. But I think also very important, and this connects me to what Teresa was saying, and this is my second point, the need for advocacy. I mean, it's just, you know, it's great that we have all of these projects that confirm, that illustrate, that make the case for what, you know, the type of change that we want to bring about. But then you have to be there. You have to be participating in the consultations. You have to be face to face, you know, meeting the policymakers. You have to be involving them as well as part of this dialogue of these, you know, stakeholders. So I think that, you know, when we combine those two, you know, the true meaning of stakeholder and the true meaning of empowerment and the need for advocacy, I think that we're also able to put our projects in an, you know, under a different light. And I think it's very encouraging for those of us who work on a project base, like most of the organizations who don't have, you know, like an industrial production, or, you know, that actually build things. For us, it's very important to realize that we are part of an ecosystem of projects as well, and that we have to be in dialogue, in connection with our other colleagues who have also representatives, you know, like Teresa in Brussels, you know, walking around the corridors, participating in the meetings, writing papers, reacting to proposals, etc., etc. So those two thoughts that for me are really, really important. So coming back to the projects, why am I speaking about them? Well, both of them actually, as you may know, the social economy has had a long track within European policy, but it is only recently that we have had a social economy action plan, okay, at the European level. It is under the umbrella of the social economy that we can think of social enterprises, you know, rooted in a European tradition, but there are many other conceptions when you speak about social enterprises, and particularly social entrepreneurship. I'm not actually going to give a definition. One of the things that we have learned in these years is that definitions are actually locally rooted, and particularly with social enterprises. That's really been, and that was the main, you're going to laugh, but that was the main result of our ICSEM project, International Comparative Social Enterprise Models, that brought together over 500 researchers over 50 countries on a voluntary basis. And what we learned is that the seek or the quest of a unique definition for social enterprise it's a doomed one. So don't even try. Don't even try. And that's why I think, and I really want to also highlight this, the effort that you guys did going into your territories, into your local contexts, and hearing first. It's something that we have to learn much more whenever we talk about social enterprises. So the two projects that I'm bringing, actually, it's three, but the main two, as I was saying, the social economy has had a path, but it's only recently that we can see social enterprises in calls like the Horizon calls, okay? As a research network, MS works mostly with research and innovation schemes, funding schemes, and public servants also that work in that area. So surprisingly, I mean, I say surprisingly because we're always surprised when this happens. There were two calls in the last work program of Horizon that invited social economy actors, agents, to contribute some proposals. One of them specifically had to do with the social economy, and in the other one, we were a little bit more audacious because it was not speaking particularly about the social economy, but we were able to frame it in a way that the social economy was included there, and social enterprises, actually. Both projects deal with social enterprises. So the first one is called Encino. It stands for Empowering CCIs, so creative, cultural and creative industries, to boost systemic innovation for sustainable climate transitions. Okay, so I'm inviting you here. It's very interesting because we're going to be seeing how 5 different social enterprises working in the cultural and creative industries. So again, we're talking about the CCIs, and we focus on a specific subset, which are social enterprises working within this field. We're going to see how they are becoming, or they can become, agents of change for sustainable climate transitions. And it's really interesting, the process that we're going to be implementing. It's actually led by them. So it's really, in this sense, it's not so much a research project like the other one that I'm going to be talking about. This is more a practitioners and a transition led or driven project. We're going to have what we call 5 transition sites. That's where those 5 social enterprises sit. And what they're going to do is that they're going to propose a prototype, a pathway for this sustainable climate transition that we're going to be testing together. And we're going to see whether, to what extent, what are the enabling and the hindering factors that make it possible for them to have this prototype work or not. Okay? This sounds a little bit abstract, but actually that's what we're working on for the first year. And we're doing that, actually they are doing that together with and in connection with their local communities. So it will be very interesting, you know, and a huge part of this project, it's actually training. So everything, all the learnings that we're going to obtain from the process, it's going to be put in a format that can be shared and that can be adapted. We prefer the word to adapt than to replicate. We think it's much more realistic and much more consistent with what we're saying. So that will be the goal, that we will also, and that's another interesting thing, Bosco, we will also have an app. Our idea is to provide CCIs, all type of CCIs. So in that sense, I think that this is a very important aspect of the work that we do. We all do. I mean, not only MS, but all of us here in this webinar is thinking that the work that we do, it's setting an example, it's setting a model, it's setting a way forward also for traditional or conventional enterprises, if you wish. So in that sense, for cultural and artistic social enterprises, we're seeing how they are facing sustainable climate transitions as organizations themselves. So how do they integrate them? And how are they inspiring others to achieve, you know, this fair and sustainable climate transition? So that would be the first project. It's called Ensino, and I think Isabel wrote the website. It's a very neat website. It was launched 2 weeks ago, so we're very proud. And please follow us, because the idea also of Ensino is that we will have. Yep. I thought there was someone. So, and then the other thing that it's very interesting from Encino is that we will be having a community of practice. So we definitely will be reaching out to you at some point whenever we are, establishing it. But the idea of a community of practice is precisely to see how can we engage others, inspire others, so that we can think together how the CCIs can lead this SCT for Europe. So the two have a European focus. The second one, it's called WISE Shift. It's multi-level policies and theories on how to leverage work integration social enterprises, those are WISEs, for inclusive and sustainable transitions. Okay, so again, this was a call that was specifically targeting social economy and seeing how social enterprises can be the leaders for sustainable and inclusive transitions in Europe. And again, what we did was to focus on a subset of social enterprises that are very common and very well known across Europe, which are WISEs, work integration social enterprises. And what we're going to be seeing is we're going to be studying them, and there will be 24 of them across 8 countries. So we'll be seeing, and this is more of a traditional research project, if you wish. So we're going to be seeing how these 24 WISEs are, embedded and have been, have evolved within a given context, and how they have become driving forces for development in their communities. Okay, and the idea from what it's called, which is very interesting, something very interesting in case you're ever curious, what it's called multi-level perspective. It's an approach that has to do with systemic knowledge, and it's an approach very useful for policy work and for community work that works in terms or analyzes the interaction between the different levels, particularly of policy. So we'll be, you usually talk about niches, okay? So niches, which in this case could be the ecosystem, a little bit the SE ecosystem. And then you study the interaction with other niches and the interaction with what is called the regime. The regime being in the case of SE would be the set of policies, the set of norms and institutions that exist around those niches. Okay, so anyway, that's a little bit the theoretical approach that we are coming on with, but which is very important. And then again, is that we were able to define 3 fields in which we're going to be active. They are agri-food. Okay, so we're going to be working with food production, the governance of food production, and alternative models for the governance and the production. We're going to be working with elderly care, okay, particularly with home elderly care. And the third one has to be with repair, recycle, and reuse. Okay, and the beauty, of the work that we expect will be carried on is that we are counting on the presence of the 3 major European networks that deal with these fields. The first one is called Reuse. I'm sure that Teresa knows them because, these are networks that are quite present in Brussels. So the Reuse network, ENSI, which is the European Network of Work Integration Social Enterprises, and Social Economy Europe. And it's beautiful. I mean, as I was telling them, there's like an alignment of stars, because anything that one of them does is going to benefit the other, and this, in many cases, that's not always the layout for European projects. So that's for WISEs. And as I was saying, when Erika told me about this webinar, this final webinar, I was thinking, okay, well, youth. When we think about it, it's youth, it's actually the muscle, it's the energy that will be carrying on anything that comes out of any kind of project, you know? So for me, to also understand how youth associations, youth networks see themselves in these kind of projects, it's a crucial question. Okay, so you know, I wanted to share these two projects, and then the last one, and I think my time is over, and then I'll be passing on to the next person. It's an open portal. You know, one of the things that you find, and probably because you come from different regions in Europe, only a few of us here are native speakers, you know, English native speakers. So one of the things that we see from the SE field is that, yes, it exists in many countries. It exists in all countries, actually. Anytime that you can talk about self or mutual help, there is a social enterprise of one way or the other. So, but we realize that the mainstream literature, the mainstream knowledge, it's in English. So one of the things that we are really driven to do right now, it's trying to bring to light, render visible, raise awareness on all the resources that exist on SE. And we have launched, that was last year, the open portal for social enterprise in Spanish, and Portuguese is coming up. Portal Abierto de la Empresa Social. I will share it there. It's there. Thank you, Isabel. You do this magic trick. And the idea is that you can share, you know, that we can all share anything that has to do with Empresa Social, with social enterprise, with a public that is growing, and a public that, because the youth are getting more involved, because we're having tools being developed for them, it's so dispersed, you know, information and resources on SE is so dispersed that we're really trying to have a portal, you know, a space where we can, you know, upload, we can feature. It's totally open, it's literally open, and we're maintaining it for now, thanks to a grant that was given to us by the Spanish Ministry of Labor. But the idea is that this is something that can be carried on, curated and maintained by other agents. So this is just to say that, you know, it's not enough that each of us does his or her thing on her corner, but that we need to find the way to generate spaces where also conversations can take place. And that's the main format that we're using for the portal right now. They're called conversatorios, and you're more than welcome. I've told Erika that whenever you want to organize a conversatorio, you're more than welcome to organize it, so that we have a space where we can, you know, sit and listen to each other and take the time to understand what is being done in other corners of Europe. So I'll leave it there for now. Maybe if you have some questions, comments, you know, anything that you want to comment, I would love to hear what you think about these projects that I've presented.
Thank you, Rocio.
You're probably overwhelmed.
So we know that we're sharing a lot of information, especially there's so many organizations and projects here, which is really nice to see. And I think the power of the collective is something that I always talk about. Like when you have people that are doing amazing things in one place, it's like it gives you hope, no, in the current state of the world. So thank you. And we will have time at the end too for any questions, and we're here
Wonderful.
as well following the webinar. So yeah.
Okay, so then actually what I will do, since I have been also mentioning her over and over and over, I'm actually going to hand hand the floor over to Teresa. She was actually she was the work package leader for work package 3, understanding social entrepreneurship, and she's going to be telling us, you know, what took place as part of this work package, and also what some of the lessons were, you know, in the process. And I'm actually eager to hear what she has to tell us. The floor is yours, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rocio. And really congratulations on these insightful projects. Really looking forward to learning more from them because it's so many lessons and so many questions. Thank you for that. So yes, as Rocio was saying, we are moving now forward to Work Packets 3, which I cannot believe took place last year. It's like, wow, wow, wow. And we already finalized Work Packets 4. This will come later. So Work Packets 3 was really set a second foundation on our project. Work Packets 2 was about understanding, ecosystem in a way, these focus groups, all the lessons we learned, and Work Packets 3 was more devoted on really understanding what we mean by social entrepreneurship, because SESI, as the name of the project says, the acronym is social entrepreneurship as an enabler of social inclusion. So we really need to be very, mindful of what social entrepreneurship we are working towards, we are trying to enable in this context, and it's the one focused on fostering social inclusion. So this was a key element, and we started in November 2020. I think this was November 23, never mind. So we started this in November 23 with this cycle of webinars, and the webinars had we had 3 webinars. Maybe we can continue moving and then we can come. This you can hear, you just can see, visually speaking, how the Work Packets 3 was organized. We have these webinars, we have audiovisual pills, and then we have matching sessions. So first of all, you all have QR codes. I know our colleagues from Espacio Geranios are sharing all of this in the group and afterwards. But if in the meantime I'm talking, you feel like super excited and want to go to YouTube, please feel free to scan all the QR codes we are sharing with you now. And if you scan this QR code, you will be going directly, you will be redirected to the series playlist. That's playlist, no? Yeah, yes, the playlist with these 3 webinars. So what do we mean by social entrepreneurship as an enabler of social inclusion? So we had 3 webinars devoted to really define our conceptualization. So webinar 1 was more generic. So what do we mean by social entrepreneurship? So we have an expert that explain us the main, elements within the topic, and to the youth workers, something that I haven't mentioned. Work Packets 3 included experts on social entrepreneurship and the youth workers from all the different organizations of the SESI consortium. So in this moment, we didn't involve specifically, primarily as target groups, the youngsters. This will come later in Work Packets 4. So this series of webinars was focused on answering this question: what do we mean by social entrepreneurship? So as you can see, here you have the QR code to webinar 1, and here you have the QR code to webinar 2, and then webinar 3. So the webinar, can we go back to the previous slide, please, with the longest slide with all the text? Because meanwhile I'm explaining, I think it makes sense that you can read. This one slide, next one after this one. Yes, and next one, please. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so then first thing we did was understanding what do we mean by social entrepreneurship, and then very important, because some of our partners are focused on more local, rural areas, or even if they are focusing more urban areas, they have the mission of empowering youngsters at the local level. So we wonder how social entrepreneurship is transforming our local communities. So we saw a little bit of case studies coming from our different regions. And third, and connecting with what Rocio was mentioning, the advocacy element, the advocacy dimension, we also analyze how social entrepreneurship is reframed and it's understood at the more national and European Union level. So to some extent, these 3 webinars set the foundation stone to what we did afterwards in a more engaging way that was transferred into the audiovisual piece. I invite everybody to scan the QR code that will bring you to the audiovisual reels, which we publish in YouTube and also on Instagram. So these audiovisual reels already involve youth workers and also youngsters from our different countries, and they brought their personal voice, their personal experience to the topic of social entrepreneurship. So these audiovisual pills, you will find them translated into the different languages of the partners, no? So Spanish, Romanian, English, French, I'm not missing, and Polish, of course. So the mission, the ultimate mission of the audiovisual pills was transfer all the knowledge we got in the webinars into very short reels but actionable plans. So youngsters from different contexts involved in the youth work context, they brought us how is being the experience in social entrepreneurship. So for instance, as Youth Proactive, we went to the European Parliament and we talked with young people who are very involved in the policy making scenario, concretely in the social entrepreneurship EU policy framework. And talking from their experience working daily at the European Parliament, they gave us their voice into the topic. So I highly encourage all of you to scan the QR code, follow us on Instagram, go to YouTube, and really watch the audiovisual pills because they are genuinely engaging, and all the partners brought the voices of the youth workers at the level, and it's a very visual, it's a very visual example of what we did more theoretical in the webinars. And I'm almost done. How did we culminate Work Package 3 with matching up sessions in which we connected social entrepreneurs, young people that are really working in this area, in the area of social inclusion, in the entrepreneurial field. We connected through these matching up sessions, we have several of them, with youth workers that had already an idea of a project that could be implemented in practice. And we tested the waters in a way. So through 3 different, I think in total we have 3 hours, and we divided this in different matching sessions. So we connected these youth workers that really had an idea, that were really into, exploring social entrepreneurship with entrepreneurs that really have the experience, they have the tools, the resources, the ideas to really test if these potential ideas could be developed and could be implemented into further projects. So having this said, you also have access to these matching up sessions. We can also put you in touch with some of the experts, top entrepreneurials, all the people that were involved. And if you have more doubts about this, please feel free to reach us. And having this said, I think now is the time to bring the voice to one of the people that participated in these sessions. And this is all from Work Package 3. I have to say that it was a wonderful experience, and big thanks to all the youth workers and all the social entrepreneurs that participated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. So yes, one of the people that was involved in Work Package 3 throughout, I think, all of the process, right, Chandler? Is Chandler Jefferson. He's a sustainability professional that has been accompanying startups through We Make Change. He's going to share about his experience, but he also has experience through his postgraduate research on the financial viability of social enterprise ecosystems in Kenya and in Ghana. So Chandler, we wanted to ask you today if you could share with us a little bit about what was the work that you were doing through We Make Change, and how do you really think, kind of answering that question that we posed at the beginning, can social entrepreneurship really be an enabler of inclusion?
Yeah. First off, thank you everyone for joining today. It's been a pleasure to be a part of the process for the last year or so, I think, since you guys started Work Package 3. Yeah, my experience with We Make Change. So I'm no longer with We Make Change, but I was the former head of startups there. We kind of lumped impact startups and social enterprises all into kind of one category. But we worked with social enterprises, or I worked with social enterprises and impact startups across the globe. And the goal of We Make Change was to create a platform where anyone from around the world that wanted to get involved with social entrepreneurship, to support social entrepreneurs, they could find social enterprises and they could volunteer their skills that they had to help those social entrepreneurs. Because one of the main issues or challenges that we see in social entrepreneurship is, of course, that entrepreneurs are much more restrained or constrained by resources, and they don't have as much access to resources as typical businesses, of course. So What we did was we developed a platform, and this platform was actually quite a success. I think now they have some odd 40,000 changemakers, volunteers from around the world who have been helping over 700 to 800, I believe now, social enterprises, helping them to get through their kind of their challenges that they face. And that's anything from helping them with marketing to making graphics to business development to strategy, everything that a social entrepreneur or a social enterprise may need. And then we also realized that these kinds of social enterprises, they also needed some additional support, which maybe required a higher level of ability and skill. And so we started working with different corporations, big name corporations that you've heard of, I'm sure, like Kimberly-Clark, AstraZeneca, Coca-Cola, Latin America. And we were getting their small teams of marketing people, of finance people, of graphics people to volunteer their time as well and really kind of focus on high level situations of working with these social enterprises. So the kinds of social entrepreneurs that we worked with, they ran the gamut from youth entrepreneurs all the way to people who had gone through their whole life in a career and now they're focusing on social entrepreneurship as a means to make impact in the world. But this is kind of where my work with social enterprises stems from. As noted to my experience with my postgraduate research was working primarily in social enterprise ecosystems and understanding the differences between these kinds of ecosystems in developing countries and to the Western countries. As I think Rocio kind of hinted at, a lot of the research that's out there is mainly in, for example, in English, and that means also a lot of the research in social enterprise ecosystems are also conducted mostly in a Western context. And so there's a divide, I believe, in a lot of the research that is needed in global South countries. And so I decided to look into what are the challenges for financial viability and access for social enterprises and entrepreneurs in developing countries. And so I looked at Kenya and Ghana. These are two countries in Africa that, as you may know, they have quite large SE networks, SE infrastructure. It's kind of starting to gain more and more momentum, I would believe. And so they have thousands of social enterprises. But I think when we're talking about social enterprises, and definitions, as Rocio, you also mentioned, it's kind of pointless to try and define because it is so difficult because it means something different to different people and to different geographic areas. So this was something that I think I uncovered a lot in both my research, but also with my work with We Make Change. I worked with a lot of SEs that were either that were in Europe or they were North American based. And I also worked with many that were global South based, and you could see the differences and challenges that they had. So something that we see with social enterprises in Europe, for example, is they have much greater access to resources. They have much broader networks. They are able to capitalize a lot more effectively. But those that down in developing countries, they face different challenges where they lack infrastructure. They lack the kinds of organizations, the intermediaries that can help them and support them. And so I think when we're looking at social entrepreneurship and then as an enabler for social inclusion, to finally get to that next part of the question there, I think that we have to see what are the differences in the ecosystem that it provides for these entrepreneurs and for these youth. So, for example, if you're talking about youth in Europe, I believe they have some greater access to some resources that are there that are readily available. But when we look at those in developing countries, they lack a lot of that access. And so I think when we're looking at kind of what are some of the differences of how social enterprise can be an enabler for inclusion? We have to look at what is the reason or what is the point for individuals to get involved in social entrepreneurship. And so when I think of this, I think of it from a couple of different levels. So social entrepreneurs, youth particularly, they have a variety of access points to social entrepreneurship. For myself, I can tell you that I began my journey as finding social entrepreneurship, as finding social enterprises, and finding out how amazing it was. And I just wanted to volunteer myself, so I volunteered my time specifically with a social enterprise. That led into something greater and led to me working to kind of support social enterprises. So we can see, though, that youth can get involved as being social entrepreneurs, something that they can do to work within social enterprises to help create, the kind of social and economic and cultural norms that they want to see in the world. So that's one access point for youth, I think. Another is looking at, again, the kind of the difference between global North and global South types of entrepreneurs. So when you see entrepreneurs that are in Europe, youth in Europe, they may have very different situations and why they want to get involved in social entrepreneurship. A lot of things I've noticed in my work was that European youth or European entrepreneurs in general, they're typically working on situations where they want to solve a problem that they see. It might not be a problem that actually affects them directly, but it's something that's usually in the community, or it's something they want to work towards to help enable those in other communities and distance and farther distances. But then when we look at developing country social enterprises, we see a lot of youth that are trying to get involved in social entrepreneurship as a means to bring them and their local communities out of poverty or out of economic issues. And so they tend to make social enterprises that are more around fixing the problems they have that are directly affecting them and their local communities. So I think that there's different ways and different means to which youth can get involved in being social entrepreneurs, and why it can be an inclusion factor. Um, I think it definitely is an inclusion factor when you see the types of initiatives that social enterprises do, when you can see the changes that they can make. And when we see that they can actually have power. So this is in my own experience, this has kind of been, if I had to throw it all into a big overview here. Um, so yeah, I think if I have to think any more about it, it's kind of I think that, yeah, youth can use social entrepreneurship as an inclusion enabler by supporting causes and initiatives that they believe that will lead to more inclusion via working through a social enterprise. They can do it through developing their own solutions to create more inclusion, working as a founder of a social enterprise. And lastly, what I wanted to say was that the kind of the third area is kind of where we're all working in right now, which is working as an ecosystem support actor, I think. So again, one of the main points that I came from my research in Africa is that it lacks a lot of the supportive ecosystem infrastructure. So it lacks a lot of the organizations, like we see here, all these amazing organizations here who have come together to create this project. And so you can work as an enabler for inclusion by supporting other social enterprises. So these are kind of I think broadly, when we're talking about how it can be an enabler factor, I think it's an enabler factor across a broad swath. So it's difficult to sum it all up, to be quite honest, in such a short time, and all of the things that I have in my head. It's difficult to put it all out there, but I definitely can parrot a lot of the things that Rocio has mentioned in her dialogue as well, about all of the amazing things that come from these kinds of projects and that come from social enterprises across the globe, to be honest. So
Thank you, Chandler. Thank you so much. That was again, that was a lot of ideas, a lot of, and as you're saying, it's not just it's not just ideas, it's what comes, the experiences that come with them, and that we would like to transfer, and because we so much love and believe in what we do. So thank you so much. I really hope that we have time to exchange at the end, although time is flying. And a very interesting thing that was part of SESI was this idea of designing a replicable or an adaptable training model that could facilitate, the take up and the learning about social entrepreneurship amongst young people across Europe, and eventually, once adapted to other contexts. There was a team that was also in charge of this task within SESI, and this was the IDE, the Romanian organization, IDE Association. Andrea was the person heading it, and I actually had a chance to meet her when she was here in Madrid, if I'm not wrong, right? I was thinking about it. We had a chance to meet, I think, when you came. So that was actually the work for Work Package 4, which was entitled Connecting and Enabling Social Entrepreneurs. And basically the work that was carried out focused on 3 visits, the country visits to Romania, to Belgium, and to Poland, and the coaching sessions. So this is a very interesting work package that involved, the coordination of this partner of IDE, but also the collaboration and the participation of members from the community that enriched the final result. So I'm also really looking forward to seeing this training material once it is ready. But now I pass the floor on to Andrea so she can present the work that they did. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rocio. It's nice to see you again. I was actually thinking about the time that we had in Spain. Yes, 2024, it was a really interesting year for SESI. We had a lot of work, and I would like to focus more also on the personal level than the methodology and everything. Because for us, it was more than just the trainings and the developing of the ideas of the social enterprises, let's say like this. It was more on connecting level between the youngsters that were participating, between the youth workers, between everything that we managed to do with the project. We had a lot of fun. We had the projects, as you said, in Romania, Poland, and Belgium. We started in Romania with AIDE, and it was in May 2024, so almost 1 year since we had our first mobility. And I would say that it was a challenge for everybody, like every meeting to connect everything that happened from one to another, for the youngsters to have their ideas put in order. It was interesting by the point that the meeting in Romania was by the end of May, and the one that was in Poland, it was by the beginning of June. So we had just 1 week before we met again. So it was everything fresh, all the informations and everything. In Romania, we had amazing ideas that they developed when it comes to their business ideas. They come with such an inspirational places that they want to open. They come up with such an amazing ideas for the community. We also had some visits. We also had some interesting places that we saw, and we gathered inspiration from there as well. In Poland, when we talk about financial literacy, we actually had more visits than Romania, so they have even more inspiration to bring to their projects and to their initiatives. And of course, we had a bit of more time until we met. If I am right, in September we met in Brussels, so they had time to prepare their final ideas and everything. What I want to say is that the youngsters were really inspirational, not only for the other youngsters, let's say, not only for their peers. They were really inspirational also for us, for the youth workers. We came up with some plans. We came up with ideas. We worked quite a lot with everything that we wanted to do. We also came up with some, let's say, points that we gathered to also improve our work as organizations. And I think everybody learned something from it. But of course, they weren't alone in all the process all the time. There was a youth worker helping them. And then we had the coaching sessions when they managed to learn a bit more about how to develop their business plan, how to work more on their ideas, how to improve their, you see the points here, how to improve the market research, the value proposition development, and so on. But I would say that the coaching sessions were more on a personal level in their actual plan because they got to know their team better, because they got to work with each other, they got to share their ideas. Everybody was sharing ideas with the others, everybody was bringing an input to the other's plan. It wasn't just a work between a youth worker and a youngster, it was more of a teamwork for everybody. And the nicest part that we had, it was that the last coaching session that we had, it was in December, if I'm right, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of December of 2024. And when we met, all of us, and we presented our ideas, we managed to see how far we got with everything. We managed to see how many beautiful ideas and how much they managed to develop themselves, how much they grow. Because every youngsters came up in this project with another idea, with another point of view on their world, on their communities, on everything that it was happening in their countries. But somehow everything became so, I would like to say, European, because their ideas can be actually brought to each of the countries. They weren't thinking anymore on the level of their country or of the region or of the city. They were more thinking on an European level. And that's why also when we presented the last business plan, when we presented our last action plan, when we had all this index that you see here, we brought them some options also to explore more, to be able to actually open their ideas. So for some of them who was more on a beginning project or let's say an idea that they wanted to create, we talk a little bit about European Solidarity Corps because they have the Solidarity projects, so they can have their peers coming and helping them work on the project together. And to the others, we also talk about young entrepreneurs, Erasmus for young entrepreneurs, so they can find other entrepreneurs who have the same idea as them, or at least the general idea that they wanted to create in their let's say in their small community, and they can learn from them as well. So it wasn't just let's say theoretically everything. We didn't just create some plans and that was it, we are just going to present it. No, it was a bit more. It was also a perspective that these plans can happen. And I think I'm talking here in the name of every representative from every organization when I say that we actually put a little bit the seed in their brain, like we have our app, Seed Connect. So now maybe they will want in the future to try to actually start their ideas and have them further. I know for a fact that some of them actually wants to do it. Maybe when they will be more experienced, maybe when they will have more informations and knowledge is gathered. But I'm pretty sure we will have some amazing surprises for them. So I think you should hear it from them, not from me.
Thank you, Andrea. Yes, I think this was probably one of the most inspiring parts, too, for us to be able to accompany youth who maybe haven't had the opportunity to leave the country where they're from, or to be able to engage in these types of training opportunities, and also for us as organizations, the same. This for us was I'll be very honest, this was the first Erasmus Plus project that we participated in. So it was a huge learning process for us. And to be able to do it alongside people who have more experience and knowledge was a gift. So like Andrea said, we would like to hear from the experience of two participants in this youth exchange and the training program. Carolina from Poland, can you share a little bit with us about how your experience was? If you want to share a little bit about your project idea as well, but mainly about what was it like to be a part of SESI? Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Carolina. I'm from Fundacja Regeneracja, and what was the experience of the SESI for me? Well, it literally changed my life because a year ago, I didn't know what even social entrepreneurship is, and now I do. And I gained so much from this project, and it's amazing because so many people worked on the logistics, so we youngsters can develop our talents, develop new experiences, etc. And now I'm really grateful for this project happening because I work in an NGO, which I didn't know was possible, but here we are, and I'm really grateful I could be here with all of you. And as for the SESI, my SESI idea, I wanted to create a cafe which would help improve customers' mental health. I wanted to create workshops because, mental health is important. It's really important. And I wanted to create a safe space for other people to really take care of it, you know. And I don't know if it will be happening. Like it's possible, but I don't know. I'm happy with everything that is right now, because thanks for Ceci, I had so many great opportunities, like on the mobilities that we had in Romania, Poland, Brussels. I met so many amazing people. I visited so many amazing entrepreneurships and enterprises, I'm sorry. And I'm I'm really glad because it really opened my mind. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you who created this project because it's been really a pleasure.
Thank you, Carolina. We didn't pay her to say that.
No, they didn't. They really didn't.
Thank you, Carolina, for your time today. And also it's been a pleasure also working together.
Always, Erika.
Andre from Romania, can you share a little bit with us about what the SESI experience meant to you?
Yes. Hello, I'm Andrei from Romania. I was part of the Romanian team from AIDE. I'm glad that I'm here today to share my experiences with you. I'm just a little bit sad that my other colleagues from Romania they're not here because they also had amazing ideas and I also wanted them to share with you, but you'll have to manage with me. I actually can vouch for Carolina because first time when I met her in Romania, she was this anxious girl that was not trying to go too far from her ideas, like let's keep it small, small, small. But then we were talking and sharing ideas, and she was like, okay, I can really do the cat cafe. It's an amazing idea. I can go from this place and bring the stuff. I can go from the other place and bring the stuff. But to speak more for myself, what Ceci really taught me was to just dream big about ideas because you don't really know how you're gonna do it, but if you don't start from something, you're gonna be stuck in the same place. It's more like how Bosco is developing the app, the seed app, because first of all, you have to have a visualize idea how it's gonna look, and then you'll manage on the way further how you're gonna work with it and how it's gonna be presented to the people. Because I was the same confused. Okay, I came with this big idea that I want to do, but I don't know what is the next step to actually try and do it. So going to Poland, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna learn about the money and how to get money. And then I'm going to Brussels and I'm learning all these things from the other entrepreneurs and how they manage to do it. And it was just exactly like that. They dream big about the idea and then just figure it on the way how we can bring it to life. To tell a little bit about my social company that I developed, it's a rage room. If you are familiar with the term, it's basically a room where you go in and just break stuff. But it's a tricky part. It's somehow you're doing the work with the fun because it's not really about breaking the stuff. It's really about managing your emotions, about mainly your anger, because you don't know how to manage it. You don't know how to express it. You don't know where it started from. So basically, you let the people break the stuff. Then after they calm down, they have some time with themselves and understand that, okay, it was because that people treated me badly. And then they can also have a session with our groups of people where they can share the ideas of their anger and how to manage it, or have a session with our psychologists that can help them, but that's gonna be a little bit extra. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you for sharing. As you all know, the experience, the idea behind this, as Andrea said at the beginning, was that each group of youth from the different countries could develop their own ideas and then have these sessions with the mentors that are involved from the organizations to help kind of, in Spanish we say aterrizar, like bring it down to earth. And so it's been going through this process and learning about marketing, funding, business model canvas, all these things that are important elements to social entrepreneurship was all part of the process. So thank you, Andre, for sharing your experience and also your ideas. I know that SESI has been an important part of all of our lives, and especially both of yours. So I'm glad that you're here today to share it with us. So
Thank you.
Next, we wanted to share the kind of one of the most important results of the project is this application that we've talked about throughout today. Right now, we are going to hand the floor over to Paul. And Paul is our colleague from Fundacja Regeneracja, who has used, I think for us, has been like this catalyst for communication, has been encouraging us, and has also through the SESI process, like established ways to reach more people that we didn't even contemplate in the project. So Paul, can you share with us a little bit more about the Seed Connect app and also what other initiatives emerged from this project that we weren't prepared for?
I will try, but considering the surname that is on the slide, it's not me.
Sorry, Paul. The other
But
Paul.
I will do it instead. I will do it instead. Basically, in case of the Seed app, I've got my brilliant colleague. He is with us. The father of the Seed app, we may say, Bosco. Say hello to Bosco. I do not see Bosco here on the list because the list is switching on and off all the time. So basically, the Seed app, this is something that is worth having if you are a social entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur to be. Definitely the app, this is a kind of gathering of all the most important aspects. We managed to cover it during our meetings and we worked really hard. Bosco didn't get angry with us for making changes, and he was really patient, and he's a great guy that is always ready to help and ready to discuss the best solutions. While working with the app, we concentrated. I don't really know if we used one particular methodology for developing of the app, but definitely we used the elements of Scrum, of Agile projects, and it was really, really wise what Bosco was doing with us. When we connected through from Poland, from Belgium, and from Romania in order to make it as perfect as possible. I believe that all the participants of our today's webinar must have it. Maybe it's not very nice to say that somebody must do something, but definitely people get it because the app already is full of very valuable content. Now, after you have downloaded the app or just you scanned the QR code that Erika is showing to us, I will guide you through the most important elements of the app. But in order to do so, I've got my special equipment here. That is another phone. So on the list, you will find me with my name and surname, but also me with the Seed Connect app. So if you could please stick or just pin the Seed Connect app account here, you will just have the opportunity to observe everything. I'm switching on the app. I don't know if this is already visible.
Yes.
Is it? You see the desk?
It is. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. You see the desk, and in order to use the app, when you open the app, which has got a really nice icon, very colorful with our SESI logo, and after you have entered the app, the first tab that appears here, these are the projects. In a very short time, we are going to make it even more advanced, and we are going to implement some changes to the structure of the very app. Probably it will be clearer, and again, this is due to the suggestions of all the people that participated in making the app. For the time being, what you can see here in the project section, these are all the projects that our partner organizations are working on, but also the ones that we believe are important for people who are engaged with social entrepreneurship. You can go through the recent updates. You will find the content of different forms, both the video knowledge pills that we keep creating, as well as the projects that the partners started. You always have the account that posted this. So this is a kind of wall that you know pretty well from both Facebook and Instagram. And everyone can find something that might be important for them. Switching on to the second button here below at the bottom of the app, these are meetups. Meetups are the occasions to engage with social entrepreneurship or just social issues within and outside the European Union. We keep posting, and we hope that also you keep posting the most important events that we can participate in. Each event is described well because we add them using a special wizard. You can enter every meeting. You may read about the location. You may read about the details, and also you may click that you are going to attend. In this way, this event goes directly to your profile. I mean, the last button at the bottom of the page. Here, this is the place where you create your profile and where you describe what you are doing. You can read here some details about me. There is also the contact form. In fact, it switches you directly to WhatsApp, which is the most convenient method for communicating. Apart from that, you will see all the projects that I'm engaged in, and you will notice all the meetups that I will participate. So, for instance, on the 18th of March, you've got the meeting at the European Commission in Brussels with 3 other attendees, including Bosco, which is very nice. You may read about it further. There is a great search section. The search section, as Bosco pointed out, this uses the engine with artificial intelligence. So it can tailor the search results for you, but also make some suggestions. I think that this is really great. Using this search bar, you may search both for resources, people, and so on. So you enter here, for example, the surname of the CEO of Regeneracja Foundation. Having good internet connection always helps, and it's going to find Kasia soon. It's going to find Kasia soon, or not. Where's Kasia? Kasia is here. I don't know why, but Kasia is not in the first place. And you've got all the details. You can contact Kasia. You may look for all the content that she created, all the meetups that she's going to participate. Definitely, we count on you with the app. We count on you and your participation. We count on the content that you are going to create. And please remember that this is probably the only place in both App Store and Google Shop, Google Play Shop, that you can find. So be with us, download the Seed Connect app, and keep up to date with all the news.
Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but just to finish, we would like to thank you, Paul. I don't know if you want to give a brief introduction about the podcast as well.
Yeah, in case of the podcast, you will find it. You will find my podcast and the information about. Yeah, so this is, I think, the best proof. This is the best proof that the Seed Connect app works perfectly. You will find information that I posted on the 29th of December about the podcast, which is dedicated to social businesses, social entrepreneurship. You will find it on Spotify. In the app, there is a link. You may also contact me if you have some nice ideas regarding the podcast. And the podcast answers the most important questions of social entrepreneurs. Also takes care of keeping them up to date with recent technologies, because I'm a kind of geek as well. And I'm really much into AI and all those tools, also managerial tools. And in the podcast, you will find the most important aspects of social entrepreneurs' life and how to make it easier.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
So just to share, we wanted to, although we've been talking about it already, we wanted to share what comes next for the SESI project, because it doesn't end here. We still have a few more activities left in this work package. And one of them first, we'll start with the follow-up to this webinar. We would love to hear, like Paul said, first, your support in downloading the app, offering feedback. It's still in a pilot kind of testing phase. And so please, 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 if you haven't had the chance to do it now while you're at the presentation, we are going to send the links, and we encourage you to download the app, to test it, and to let us know. Following this webinar, we will also be creating this policy brief that we discussed and having a final conference, which will be taking place in Brussels. But to do this, we would also love to hear from you. So we will be sending surely a survey to get your feedback that can help integrate your concerns, the things that you're passionate about into this policy brief to make sure that it makes sense for everyone. So following this and everything that we've talked about already today, and Rocio, I don't know if you put a comment here in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so that I can see you all better. And then please feel free to open your mics. And if you have any questions about anything that you've heard already today, let us know. It would be great for those of you who are still here, if you could turn on your cameras so we can be interacting with people. That would be awesome. And yeah, does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Rocio. You said, when thinking about apps, here's a complimentary one by the European Commission and the OECD, so better entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that was just to throw it out there. I think that's, again, trying to capture and use what it's already there. This was a huge effort that was put together by DG Employment within the Commission and the OECD, and this is something that you can actually use with your public authorities around you. This is a way for them, I mean, it's for everyone actually, it's for all stakeholders, but it's a very useful thing to make them think about some issues that you may not afford to propose to them. So this is something, a tool that I encourage you to use. It's, you can use it for social entrepreneurship and for what they call inclusive entrepreneurship. And I think, it has been used, it is still being used. So I just wanted to share it with you because I think it's a very good complement to this app.
Thank you. Yes, please, Isabel, we will follow up with these links and make sure that you all have them at the end as well. Does anyone else have any questions or comments from what you've heard today? Welcome, Cristina, as well. I see that you're here from Escuelab, a really great social entrepreneurship, social enterprise here in Spain.
Yeah, I could only join you guys very late in the presentation, but I didn't want to not say hello, and I look forward to the documents that we'll receive so I can get deeper into what you guys talked about today. Sorry for being late.
Oh, thank you, Cristina. All right.
I'd love to hear, just thinking, that not only the people who have, who were directly partners of the project, but some of the youngsters, we've heard from the two of them, but other people who are here and who may have benefited or count on, benefiting themselves or their communities maybe. And also a question that I have is for those of you who have been involved, how do you count on using these tools? I mean, what's the sort of now what plan?
I mean,
Go ahead.
talking a little bit from my personal side, I think from Andrei's also personal side. We together are trying to open the rage room. We are still stuck on some mathematically, logically life situations that are happening around. But in our case, we actually want to open it. And the thing that I was telling everybody, because I'm also this type of person who will see always the life in pinky colors. And for me, everything is possible with the right motivation and the right way to get the funds to do actually your business. I'm pretty sure everything can start from here, and I'm pretty sure all the ideas can happen. Yes, it will take a lot of time, or it will take a bit of time depending on how stubborn you are, but they can change a lot. They can bring another face to the community that we are in general. They can be multiplicated into other places and other communities. They can be also as methods of youth work. And I think SESI was a good example for everybody that was involved to learn to dream a bit more about things that can happen. It changed everybody for sure and their lives and everything. And it can be replicated. SESI cannot be just a project that will end in October and that's it. And we no longer hear of it, or we just have the app and we use it. No, I think SESI can become more. SESI can become a repetitive program that we can do in our local level. I'm talking from my experience because I already wrote a project, SESI type of project, but on another different topic and another category of target group, let's say. So I'm pretty sure this project will continue to live, and not only in the heart of the people who are here and had the opportunity to meet each other and work together through the methodology that was shared, to the things that we learned, to the things that we are bringing to our community and to future projects. I'm pretty sure it changed everybody.
Thank you, Andrea. I see Kaisa has her hands up.
Yes, thank you, Erika. Thank you, Andrea. Well, if we are sharing our experience, but also if I would, when I'm thinking how we already are using the lesson from the SESI project that we had, I think I told you that we have this project, Dragon's Den. And to be honest, the main inspiration for the name of the project and for the way we are implementing the project was different Erasmus project that we had, also with Youth Proactive. But after SESI and after mobilities, when we were focusing so much on business model canvas, we implement this kind of tool into the process of working with youngsters. So I think this is also because we were talking a lot about business model canvas and we could get more deeply and understood better this kind of tools. We are using it now to teach youngsters
Isa, you're cutting off.
Yeah, Cassia, we cannot hear you.
Managing one of Dragon's Dance edition. She also, thanks to the SESI Project, are using.
Cassia, you were breaking up in the
I'm
last
here
part.
with you again.
There you are. Thank you.
I know. My colleagues are close to me, so they told me I don't know when it stopped.
Okay.
I wanted to take over, but I think you have finished.
So, but yes, many inspiration, much of inspiration from the SESI project. I think even Baba, I don't know, am I right? But even the thing with the podcast, I think was mostly inspired through the SESI project, because on one of our meetings, Erika asked if you have a podcast. And I think that may be this kind of motivation to do it.
Yes, it was. And, the very beginning, it was the time that I noticed that the content that I can produce and the knowledge that I have gathered through something like 15 years of working with social entrepreneurship, that this is worth spreading. And there are social entrepreneurs all over the globe. And now having the account of both TikTok and Spotify, I've got people contacting me from the US, from Africa, from Britain, that really, really take the content very seriously, and they use the content in their day-to-day running of their business. So yeah, SESI was the starting point.
That's exciting to hear. I just wanted to share personally for us, as I mentioned, that this is a project that kind of introduced us into the Erasmus Plus world. And one of the things that for me has been really inspiring is how to bring all of these youth that have participated with us in our different organizations to keep them engaged and motivated in our local organizations. So like Carolina, who is currently working with Fundacja Regeneracja, have a group of youth ambassadors, which I know Youth Proactive also has, and other organizations. And that's something that we would like to work on helping to consolidate so that we have more youth that are engaged as active agents of change in their local communities. So that's something that we're working on. And then also for me, beyond like the social entrepreneurship part, this idea of facilitation and communication and like working on our own skills has been like these train the trainer type activities has been really engaging. Watching Andrea, seeing her as like a youth worker in action with the icebreakers that she's done, or all of our other colleagues. I think that's something too that I will take away, and that is helping to improve the other projects that we are working on. So thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions beyond?
I don't have the option to raise my head. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
No, please, Andrea.
No, it's okay. You can add. I just wanted to add a bit of the part with the youth work after you finish your idea and your.
No, it's just a comment. I'm very glad that I'm together with young people looking for social entrepreneurship. Our example in Greece is like we have the first legislation for social cooperatives in 2011. So it was one of our first movement to find out what is this in Greece. We created a social cooperative. And the first thing we learned, it was about Mondragon in Spain. The best example of getting things social. And then later we reached out with some Asoka competition in Greece. We are a finalist. And what it was the idea is what I've seen in some pictures of your project. If an NGO can be a social cooperative, this was the initiative that some people that were involved in the ecology movement, we create a social cooperative to promote cycling. So we were involved on renting bicycles to young students in Thessaloniki with very cheap fare. And then we involved in Erasmus Plus projects for promoting sport and cycling. And at the same time, we were like an example for new cooperatives to start because it was a very strong misconception. What is a social cooperative? It is for profit, or do we need to have a social impact, or just make a coffee, 5 friends together without paying taxes? So this is very important what you are doing. I'm very happy that I have met you and I will keep following you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Georgios, for being here today. And your organization, I say, if you all want to take a look, it looks like it's called Greenways, right? Greenways? Wow.
Yes, I put a link on the chat.
Perfect.
Of what we do is just one page in English, the rest is in Greek. But we were also mentioned in a lot of projects because we were the first cooperatives in Greece. We made a cycling project for refugees in order to give social inclusion and physical activity to children in the refugee camps. And then we moved to juvenile delinquent people, sports for bringing Roma people in the society. And we stopped because of the pandemic, but we are willingly to start again now. We were focusing on creating a new social cooperative with people with disabilities.
Thank you, Georgios. Well, yes, please feel free to stay in contact, and also we will make sure that that link gets shared with everyone that's here. I don't know if anyone else, I mentioned her before, but Cristina, I know you're here late, but if you just want to briefly introduce, I think it's part of this webinar as well. We have a few more minutes, is to also encourage connection between social entrepreneurs that are in different parts of Europe. So Cristina, do you mind just briefly sharing about what Escuelab is?
Sure. So yeah, my name is Cristina Balbas. I'm based in Madrid, in the Madrid region in Spain. And I run Escuela, which is a social initiative that focuses on bringing STEM education to children in a hands-on, interactive way. We've been working since 2013, so over 12 years now. We've developed a methodology that is really practical, really interactive, and we implement it in the non-formal education space. So extracurricular clubs, camps, day camps, overnight camps in the summer. And we also do teacher training so that elementary schools teachers can implement sciences in a more practical way than they usually do with their primary school students. You're silent, Erica.
Yeah, sorry. You have a new space, right?
Yeah, we just opened a new space in Alcobendas, which is like 20 kilometers north of Madrid capital. And it's our headquarters, but we also plan to use it as a research and development space. So whenever we think of new activities that we want to try out, we'll do them in our personal space instead of just renting out spaces or doing it at schools like we used to before. And once it's fully developed, this new activity, we can shoot it out to the rest of our usual beneficiaries, be it through direct implementation of activities or through our online platform, which is what we use to train teachers. And this allows us to reach, for example, teachers in Latin American countries. So there's now students in rural parts of many different Spanish-speaking Latin American countries who are following our methodology thanks to this online platform for teacher training.
Thank you, Cristina.
Pleasure.
All right. Anyone else? Before Andrea, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I actually want to add something. Besides the fact that I'm sorry for my voice, I talked too much the last days and I cannot speak properly right now.
The life of a youth worker.
Yeah, exactly, because I have a youth exchange right now that I'm facilitating.
I know.
Anyway, the thing is like this. All of us here, regarding of what background we have, how we gather here, if we were involved more in SESI or less, think I'm safe to say that the majority of us, even or maybe all of us, are youth workers ourselves. I think a thing that for me SESI taught me, and I like to share it with as much people as possible, is that you as a youth worker, you are having so much impact on youngsters. We have this power that we can change futures, we can shape the future of the youngsters that we are working with. We can shape the future of any person that we are interacting just with a bit of, let's say, a random talk that we have for 5 minutes during a break or something. So I think we need to remember, this is also the conclusion from my side because I will leave you in a bit. We need to remember how much power we have with youth workers, how much we can share, how much we can help, how much we can inspire the others to do things. And it's not regarding of the countries that we are in or the projects that we are in. I think it's safe to say that everybody, also the youngsters that we had in our projects, learn how to be a small ambassador of the change on this and to have social impact in their cycles, to bring people further, to make them be more active, to value more the values that we have all together. So I think this is a really beautiful thought from my side to you, to remember the reason that you're working with youngsters and to remember how much you can change them, how much you can help them, and how much of an impact you can bring only with one nice thing or with a bit of an impulse to bring them into your projects or to send them in another project somewhere. So yeah, I think that's it. I wanted to say it more inspirational, but I think I lack of words right now. So thank you for being here.
Andrea, thank you. I would encourage you all too to reach out to Andrea. She's a person that's very, very active that has a lot of experience with European Solidarity Corps and Erasmus for young entrepreneurs and these types of things. So anyone who's interested in all of the partners, but Andrea is always willing to share her expertise. So thank you, Andrea. Teresa.
Yes, thank you very much, Andrea. And I also wanted to say thank you to Christina, to Georgios, to also to bring the experience from external stakeholders into the project. And just very, very short words. I don't want to start talking and talking, but you know, next step, as Erika mentioned, is the policy briefing. No, we are going to bring into the more advocacy level all what we have been doing in the last 2 years. You know, I joined the project a little bit late, back in September. So I haven't been there since the beginning, but I have to say that it's been a wonderful experience, like learning so much in this short period of time about so many topics that from my personal background, I didn't know. So it's been a very immersive experience. But what I want to say with the policy briefing. So as Rocio was saying, the corridors of Brussels, yes. Many times when we go, to this more political arena, I experience this almost daily, there is a gap between what is the reality in the local grassroots community level and what's happening in the city, in the more bubble level. And I think that what we have achieved with SESI, it's very extraordinary, because now when we sit Youth Proactive team and we start writing the policy briefing with the help of all the partners, of course, we are going to bring data that it's so accurate. We are going to bring voices, direct voices into the final document. And our final ultimate task is like connecting with key policymakers, members of the European Parliament, Committee of the Regions, etc., etc. We will see who's joining us in our final conference. But what I want to say is that our document is going to be powerful, very powerful. And I'm very proud to say that this is the result of all this work, and I'm really looking forward to having this final document, a result of this like collaborative work that it's really going to make a difference. And I think that we should be very proud of the work that us youth workers, youngsters, all the participants that have been with us from moment zero have been bringing into this project. And having said this, that every day policy briefings are presented at the Parliament, every day. I mean, not every day, but every 2 weeks, yes. we will bring a remarkable piece of work. And I just want to say that we have to be super proud of this. And finito. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. Rocio, you wanted to share?
Yeah, we have. Thank you, all of you. It's really inspiring, and you can feel the energy. You can feel the sexy energy. I was going to say the sexy energy, which could also be. So but we do have a final surprise, Erika and myself. But I wanted to say, I always like to end up and to wrap up like this, just reminding us that. Yes, this is about the economy, but this is not only about economic activity. We're really talking about dignity. We're talking about social justice, and we're talking about learning different ways of living together. I mean, as Naomi Klein said it very well, much better than me, in a very simple sentence, this changes everything. She was referring to the climate emergency. We are facing challenges. We're facing situations that we are not ready for, not individually, not as, collectively. So one of the beauties and something that really, really teaches us, the younger, the older, is different ways of living together. We're going to have to learn new ways to find new solutions, and social enterprises, cooperatives, associations, whichever legal form you have in every country, or whatever you can end up putting together, it's a way of practicing economic democracy. And really, 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 I want to underline this word democracy, because that's what it's at stake. It's our survival. It's our survival as communities, as a fair society that is able of not only maintaining alive and in good health, including mental health, the more the wealthiest, those that have gathered more resources for themselves, but who are able to share the wealth with the rest of the community. And I think that's really important to remember every time that we talk about social entrepreneurship, social enterprise. It's not only about economic activity, it is about dignity, and it is about social justice.
Qué bonito.
Shall
Thank
we
you.
go?
All right. Well, as Rocio said, we had prepared a small gift for you all because in Spain they say frikis. We are really big fans of poetry and the power of poetry to convey all of these things that Rocio is saying. So me personally, I started getting goosebumps when you were talking, Rocio, because as you all know, like in these times that are seemingly difficult, I think that going back to the power of the word and the spoken word, and being able to share that with others, and to me, it's a way to be able to process a lot of things that are happening. So we wanted to share this poem with you from Mary Oliver, and we are going to go ahead and recite it. So thank you for listening, and we'll close with this. Don't hesitate.
If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be.
We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left.
Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins.
Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. So thank you all for listening today. We hope that we can all share and hold on to that joy and share it with others as well. So we hope you have a great, great rest of the day, and we will follow up with all of the wonderful things that we're talking about today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Erika and Rocio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. See you soon.
Ciao.
Hasta luego.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Quería preguntar